Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to bring you a video about the new second round of PPP loan, you guys. This is a personal income protection loan through the SBA. So I also have some other content and information I'm rolling out about this. The links will be in the description for the economic disaster loan also that you can get as part of the stimulus package if you qualify. So you can hit the links below, and I should be rolling out with more content, you guys, to show you how you can leverage not only your credit, also how you can start businesses in order to really try to improve your life, you guys. So this is where this information is. There's so many new ways that you can have a business at home. And if you're doing ride share, independent contractor, you can qualify for these loans. So let's jump into the information. Okay, you guys. Now with the PPP loan, unlike the EDIL loan, it was not as last time. Um, you had to qualify uh, with the EDIL loan, the economic disaster loan. You had to have a certain credit score, but the PPP loan did not have those requirements. You could qualify for a 1% interest loan, which is very, very low, you guys, no more than 2%. And they gave us to, when I got the first round, to the February 22nd, and to start to make the payments. And a lot of these loans are going to be forgivable. So we're going to jump into this second wave on what kinds of loans would be available. So now they're rolling out first time PPP loans for business who qualify under the CARES Act but didn't get a loan. Second draw PPP loans for businesses that obtained a PPP loan but need additional funding. And I guess it's saying, but need additional funding, you guys. Additional funding for businesses that returned their first PPP loan or did not get the full amount which they qualified for. Who's eligible for the second draw of PPP? Many small businesses and independent contractors may be eligible for the second draw of PPP, even if you receive funds in the first round. So that means if you did Instacart, if you was door dashing, ride sharing like Uber and all these other lists, you can qualify for this. Even having a full-time job if your income was reduced. So it's saying similar to the first round of PPP, eligible small businesses may include small business, nonprofit organizations, veterans organizations, tribal business concerns, and small agricultural cooperatives that meet the USBA size standard. Sole proprietorship. So that's just anybody doing business, even in your own name, under your own social security number. You can qualify for this. Self-employed individuals, or independent contractors. That's if you working for Uber, DoorDash, any of those type of delivery, Instacart, you can qualify for this. Certain small news organizations, designated marketing organizations, housing cooperatives, so housing cooperatives, and 501c6 nonprofits may also be eligible. In addition, this round of assistance is meant to target smaller businesses impacted by the COVID-19. As a result, applicants who qualify generally must also meet the following criteria. So number one, The business may not have more than 300 employees. So if you knew from the last time, I believe the cutoff was like 500 employees. So now they're trying to make it targeted for more big, for small businesses. The business must have at least a 25% reduction in revenue and at least one quarter in 2020 when compared to the previous quarters. More details below. So before, I believe it was 30% reduction. So now they're dropping the standards lower to help small businesses. Any business that got a first time PPP loan must have used or plan to use their full PPP loan already received. Businesses with multiple locations that qualify under the CARES Act may qualify for a second draw, provided they employ fewer than 300 people in each location. Affiliation rule waivers from the CARES Act still apply. Certain types of businesses are not eligible, including most businesses normally not eligible for SBA loans. Businesses where the primary activity is lobbying, and businesses with at least 20% ownership by China. China did what they found out, it was a lot of Chinese companies that applied for this loan and they got a lot of this money. And for us knowing the history with the pandemic and its at least maybe not origins, but we know the biggest pandemic breakout started there. So now they are now targeting more about the ownership of China. So note that the CARES Act did not make any exceptions for certain nonprofits and agricultural cooperatives, for example, which are not normally eligible for SBA 7A loans. Public trading companies are not eligible to receive the new PPP loans. So that is very interesting. Those companies that is publicly traded on the stock market are not eligible for these loans because I guess they have an ability to raise capital. So they are trying to target it for small loans. I mean, small business. How is the 25% reduction in revenue calculated? So here's the breakdown. Business owners will compare gross receipts of the business before expenses are subtracted. They will compare those for any quarter in 2020 to the same quarter in 2019 to determine if the revenues decreased by at least 25%. So that is the standard, the 25%. Note that in all examples in the section only loan, applicants that apply for the loan after January 1st, 2021 may use the fourth quarter for comparison purposes. Since it's unlikely these loans will be available before January 1st, 2020, this will likely be a moot point. So it really wouldn't matter because most likely it's not going to be available until next year. What if you were in business all of 2019? Stick with us. This sounds more complicated than it really is. First, remember a business must have been in operation by February 15, 2020 to be eligible. So that was the requirement in the first round. You had to be in business by February 15, 2020. If you were not in business during the first or second quarter of 2019, but you were in business in the third and fourth quarter of 2019, then you may compare any quarter in 2020 with the third and fourth quarter of 2019 to determine whether your gross receipts was reduced by at least 25%. So basically it was saying you're not required to be in business all of 2019 to qualify, and say if you was not in business for the first and second quarters, but you were only in business for the third and fourth quarter, then you can use those numbers with 2020 numbers, gross receipts. Okay. If you were not in business during the first, second, or third quarter of 2019, but you were in business in the fourth quarter of 2019, then you may compare any quarter in 2020. And I believe October, November, December. So it's about September. So when they're talking about the fourth quarter, it's usually September, October, November, December. So those will be considered the fourth quarters. So then it's saying, then you may compare any quarter in 2020 with the fourth quarter of 2019 to determine whether the gross receipts was reduced by at least 25%. So basically, if you had started your business in the fourth quarter, that's like after September of 2019, then you can take those gross receipts, what the numbers was, and if they were reduced at least by 25% starting for any of the quarters of 2020, then you're eligible. A business that wasn't in business in 2019, but was in business before February 15, 2020, will compare receipts from the second, third, fourth quarter of 2020 to that first quarter of 2020 to determine whether the gross receipts was reduced by 25%. So basically, they're saying you had it to start that business like from January 1st and to only February 15th. So it's a month, maybe about 6 weeks. If you were in business then and you had made an increase or a large number of gross receipts, and you can show that any of the rest of the quarters through 2020 that your receipts was reduced by 25%, you can qualify for this second round of PPP. Okay, reminder, the first quarter runs from January 1st through March 31st. The second quarter runs from April 1st to June 30th, and the third quarter runs from July 1st to September 3rd. The fourth quarter runs from October through December 1st. So you can see here what's the breakdown of the quarters. So what they are laying out for what you have to look at, which would be considered your quarters. Note that according to the legislation for the loans of up to 150,000, you can simply certify your revenue loss when you apply. That's big, you guys. It's saying you don't even have to really, what it's saying, produce receipts. You just got to certify. You just got to sign and swear. But on or before you apply for the forgiveness, you will have to produce documentation that of that revenue loss. So that's the catch-22. We don't know exactly what the SBA will consider acceptable until it provides its guidelines. So, we had a lot of fraud in the first round. So I suggest people not to lie to the government. That can lead to jail time. Try to set yourself up to win way before this. And this is why I always talked about people starting some kind of side business. So you don't want to lie. It's not worth it going to jail. So I don't suggest any of you guys falsify any of this information over money. Like, your time and your freedom is very important. So keep that in mind. How much can I get with a second draw PPP loan? The maximum amount is $2 million. Now, the last time it was $10 million in the CARES Act, but they reduced it. But $2 million can definitely help. In all examples below, the loan amount caps out at $2 million. And eligible entities may receive only 1 second draw loan. As before, a business may qualify for up to 2.5 times the average monthly payroll cost. To get the average gross monthly payroll cost, you'll total each month payroll cost divided by 12. Okay, so think about that, you guys. You can arrive at this figure either by one or two methods, your choice. Except businesses with NAICS code beginning in 72, see below. Multiple average gross monthly payroll costs for the first year period before the date of the loan is made by 2.5, or multiple average grossly monthly payroll costs for 2019 by 2.5. So those are the two ways that you can do it. So the cost for a year payroll before the dates the loan was made by 2.5, or multiple average gross monthly payroll costs for 2019 by 2.5. Now, what I suggest, if you have an accountant, to speak to your accountant to definitely get the full details. Okay, let's go to the next one. New businesses that were not in business for the first year preceding February 15th, 2020 will use a slightly different formula to arrive at the monthly payroll cost. They will divide the payroll costs paid or occurred by the date they applied by the number of months in which those costs were incurred, multiplied by the result of 2.5. Again, new businesses must have been in business by February 15, 2020 in order to be eligible. Seasonal businesses may apply based on the average monthly payroll cost for any 12 weeks period during February 15th, 2019 and February 15th, 2020. Businesses with a NAICS code beginning in 72, generally hospital businesses, may receive up to 3.5 times the average monthly payroll cost using their choice of two methods: multiplying the average gross monthly payroll cost for the first year period before the loan is made by 3.5, or multiple average gross monthly payroll costs for 2019 by 3.5. What counts as payroll? Payroll is the same as defined in the CARES Act with one new addition. Note below. Salary, wages, commissions are similar compensation, payment of cash, tips, or equivalent based on the employee records of the past tips, or in the absence of such records, a reasonable good faith employer estimate of such tips. Payment for a vacation, prenatal, family, medical, or sick leave, allowance for dismissal or separation, payment required for provisions of the employee's benefits, including insurance premium, employer costs, payment of any retirement benefit, payment of state and local tax assessments on compensation of employees. New group benefits are defined to include group life, disability, vision, or dental insurance. Self-employed. This legislation does not appear to change the way self-employed individuals who not file formal payroll will qualify under the CARES Act. At the same time, it is not specified. Presumably, independent contractors and self-employed will still qualify based on 2.5 months of net profit on their Schedule C tax form, very important, until the USBA release guidelines. Is unclear what period they will be using for this calculation. So if you are a person that is an independent contractor, self-employed, and I am presuming that what they are going to do is have a calculation that is different, because those independent contractors usually don't have a payroll. If you're doing DoorDash, or if you are doing Uber, you're just getting paid. And I believe the last time what they verified for those payments was bank statements. So keep constantly, this has just been signed and passed. So keep up with the updates, you guys, on that. Is there loan forgiveness for the new second draw PPP? Yes. As with the first round of PPP, these loans may be entirely forgiven if spent for a proper purpose, primarily payroll. During the payroll time period, currently there are 3 PPP forgiveness applications: Form 3508, Form 3508EZ, Form 3508S. Borrowers can continue to use these forms for PPP loans they received early in 2020, unless and until new applicants are released. However, the new PPP 2.0 loans we expect the Treasury and the USBA to release new loan forgiveness applications. In addition, there will now be a simplified but not automatic form of forgiveness for loans of 150,000 or less. So that's excellent, because we have a lot of small businesses or independent contractors, self-employed people that really receive less than that $150,000. So you can qualify for this, for the forgiveness, and not have to pay anything itself. What if I didn't get a PPP loan before? There is funds available for first-time PPP loans, and it appears those loans would be made on the same terms as the original PPP loans in the CARE Act. So you'll have to read deeper for those details. How must I spend the money? So this is very important, because you have to spend this money, and you need to make sure, you guys, that you separate this money out and spend it a certain way. This needs to be, keep your accountant very detailed. And I put this money in a separate account. Make sure you do not mix this, just in case the IRS or whoever, the SBA the SBA come calling. So similar to the first round of PPP, this program is primarily intended to keep employees, including the business owner or independent contractors. So that includes for you DoorDash's rideshare, on the payroll, and to pay other specific expenses. To attain full forgiveness, borrowers will need to spend at least 60% of the loan proceeds funding on payroll compensation, up to $100,000 per employee, plus payment of certain group benefits, which are now defined to also include group life, disability, vision, or dental insurance. Borrowers may spend up to 40% on other qualified expenses. During the covered period, this list of eligible non-payroll expenses has been expanded. So that's great. Rent, mortgage interest, utilities, covered operation extraneous, covered property damage costs, covered supplier costs, covered worker protection expenditures. So keep that in mind, you guys. That's what you need to make sure that you keep in a detailed accounting on all of this and have it provable. How do I apply for one of these PPP loans? So this is what people want to know. Lenders approved by the SBA will make these loans available. It does not appear that the business owner will have to apply for a second draw of the PPP with their original lender. And this Navient will be matching the business owners. So I'm going to post this article in the link. Me, myself, I went through Navy Federal. It was a streamlined process. I will tell you, make sure, I'm going to actually also include a list in the bottom of institutions directly from the SBI website that they approve prior, a breakdown by your state. So you'll have that information in the link. And you may want to look for smaller institutions, credit unions. A lot of these big banks will service their bigger clients. That's what happened the last time. So you may want to be careful with where you're applying to with these funds. A lot of people went to fintech companies such as Cabbage. I myself, Navy Federal was great for me. So you want to keep that in mind, you guys. You can get information, and I suggest you talk to your accountant. It is tax season. Shoot them a call just to clarify. If you got a good accountant, I have an excellent accountant that they help me and been helping me for over 10 years. I can just place a phone call. So I suggest that they're on top of their CPAs, to just make sure that you are staying in the guidelines. So I hope this is informational. I wish all of you the best on this application. I say go for these low interest loans that you can walk away really with the money to help your business, because they're forgivable. So I will also have a video that I'm dropping on the economic disaster loan in the description. So you could click on that. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. If you want more content like this, I will be pushing it out. And I'm going to show you now, with the new year coming up, the incentive on how to keep your full-time job and start a part-time business. So we're going to start a series on how to make money while you sleep. So if you're interested in that, make sure you can subscribe and the notification to bring you in. And also I have other videos on my other YouTube channel on helping you increase credit, find credit lines, how to remove negative items off your credit. And like I said, the last time, the economic disaster loan, you had to have a credit score over 580, and it was many people that got denied. So in order to improve that, leave the link also to my website. We have free hard inquiry removal letters, absolutely free. So all you have to do is go to the website and download it. We also have collection removal letters. You can go there, and other packages for disputing negative items of your credit. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.